What's up YouTube? Today's video I'm going to go over my farming strategy I did to get 5 apothecaries. I'm always getting asked what sextants are you using, what scarabs are you using, why run the map at this quantity, why run the map with these mods, and what should you actually do. So you can see here this is a kind of a sample run that I'm showing you. So basically you run to the boss. This is similar to the influence altar farming strategy, and wow, 3 6 links. That's kind of crazy. But basically, with the strategy, I was able to farm 5 apothecaries. I do think I was a little bit on the lucky side. But if you find 5, it kind of means that the strategy does have some merit to it. And it's really actually hard to calculate the exalts per hour because I didn't really run excellence at all. So this is more of a strategy overview. You can pretty much adopt it and you can change it up a lot. Sometimes you run 100% deli. Sometimes you want to run 80% deli or 60% deli. And it all just comes down to how tanky your character is and how much the clear speed gets affected if you increase the deli ore percentage. I'm a strong believer in that the more deli you can run, the better. So let's get straight into this video and see how exactly I was able to farm 5 apothecaries. This is the card. It's someone mashing something with a mortar and pestle. And Crimson Temple is the map. I think Crimson Township also drops the card, but this is the map that I'm choosing because this map has a lot better layout and it also has a lot of different cards like 7 Years Bad Luck, which is a Mirror Shard card. It also drops the Enlighten and it also drops level 4 in Power card. So this map is completely juiced. So first off, we want to talk about the strategy and why we're actually able to drop so many apothecaries. So this strategy is all about farming Crimson Temple. And most of the cards, I think the majority of them, 4 of them came from the Strong boxes. And the reason why the Strong boxes are OP is because the Strong box Sextant gives us 500% quantity from the mobs that spawn. And that is where most of the div cards actually come from. And then we roll beyond on the map and we utilize the unique monsters drop Corrupted Sextant for free 6 links. As you can see, that's how I got 3 6 links from the boss at the start. And in terms of what you want to do for the map, you want to add as many delirium orbs as possible. This is possible if you go on TFT. You can pretty much buy any deli orb for 9 to 10 chaos, and they'll usually just give you a random assortment. They'll usually almost always give you more armor and weapon ones because these are pretty much worthless in what kind of loot can come out of it. But basically, try to do the strategy by getting these sextants, and then your 6 links should sustain your money, so you won't be losing money. And you should be actually gaining money even if you don't find apothecary. Now, for the Atlas passive tree, what we're going to be utilizing is Wandering Path. What Wandering Path does is it disables any notables if you do decide to take any, but it makes any small Atlas passive tree passive have 100% increased effect of modifiers. So what this means is if you look at my Atlas tree right now, these quantity nodes, which used to be 1%, are not now 2%. These things that give you 2%, 1% Atlas completion for Alpha mission are now 2%. But the most important thing is that these not effective modifiers on your non-unique maps are now 4% instead of 2%. What this means is that between these quantity nodes and these effective modifier nodes, your map was going to have around double the quant of what is actually rolled. So if you look at these maps here that I ended up rolling, a map that would have around 78% quant will probably show up around 150 to 160% quant in the Atlas. Now we're also using Singular Focus. Singular Focus is nice because it allows us to over sustain Crimson Temple, and it's actually really easy to sell Crimson Temple in bulk. We do take these quantity of items found in Incursion, so if you have Alpha missions, these should help you drop a lot of 6 links in there and potentially even a card. These nodes are actually incredibly strong in the 20% increased experience, because this actually allows you to level up gems super fast. As you can see here, I'm leveling up some gems. And these gems actually level up similar to Simulacrum speed. It's actually very, very surprising how fast it is. And then these gives you quantity of items dropped by Beyond Demons. And this actually contributes to even more 6 links that could drop. And this will allow you to spawn more Beyond mobs. And these nodes I just took because these give you a higher chance to get the interrogation. But the interrogation price is actually pretty low nowadays. And then we took some Simulacrum splinters. From here, here's 8%, 8%, because a lot of these nodes don't really benefit that much. And these nodes here have a Strong box, have it guarded by additional pack of monsters. So we take these nodes here, and then these rare monster duplication and some shrine nodes because we are going to be putting domination on our maps. And this allows us to potentially open the Strong box again. Now this node is kind of a point of contention This allows the rare monsters to have one additional Arch Nemesis modifier. According to what Chris said in his manifesto, supposedly if you have more Arch Nemesis modifiers, the monster's supposed to have better quant and rarity. I'm not really sure if it's confirmed at all, but that's pretty much what he said, so I'm just taking a note. But if the map is too hard, I would just not take that note. Now, in terms of what altars you want to run, you want to be running either Eater of Worlds or Siri Exarch are both fine, because we are unable to take these nodes that actually benefit the altars. So in all fairness, they should be about the same altars per map for both. And we do want to take Eldritch Gaze, which does give you 50% increased effective upsides, which allow you to get more quant later on. Now, next up, we want to go straight into map rolling. Now, map rolling is something that's very, very important, and it is kind of crazy how good this tool is. So recently, I've talked about Path of Exile Regex, or whatever it's called, but now there's a way to make your own search tree, and let me show you how you can do that. So let's exit out of this sample video. So Path of Exile Regex allows you to choose like the quantity. So you can say, I want all my maps to be above 70 quantity. And here you can click stuff that you don't want your map to have. So you don't want your map to have avoid all ailments. You don't want your map to have reflect. And you do want your map to have beyond. So you click this, and this will create a search string that you can copy and paste into your search function. And this will allow you to roll maps in bulk. And it will only show maps that will have beyond 70+% quant, no reflect, and no chance to avoid all ailments. So this is extremely important. So you can use this to customize the map modifiers in order to fit your build's needs. So if you can't do reflect, make sure you select the right thing, and make sure to always select beyond if you're going to do the beyond strategy. So super, super important tool, and it really changed my life. Now, in terms of scarabs, what you want to use, you can use Polish/Gilded Reliquary, which gives you more unique drops. Gilded Ambush, which gives you more more strong boxes. Polish/Gilded Abyss, which should give you a lot more monsters, especially with our Atlas tree. Polished Divination or Gilded Divination, depending on the cost of it or what you can buy it at, which should give you more divination card drops. And you could swap out Reliquary for Blight if you really wanted to. Blight does spawn a lot of monsters. If your build can handle it, it will give you probably the most monsters possible out of all of these scarabs. And you don't really find that many unique, so this is more of a gamble and trying to find like a Mage Blood or Squire or something like that. And you could choose Polish or Gilded depending on the price. I know a lot of these scarabs are pretty expensive now, especially Ambush and Divination, because a lot of people are trying out the strategy. Now for the Sextants, and this is where the magic happens, is you want unique monsters drop corrupted items. So these things means that the Beyond Demons can drop 6 links, and you want Beyond, so you're pretty much having double Beyond of sorts. You have Beyond on the map, and then you have Beyond on the Sextant, so you can't really get triple Beyond anymore, because you can't put Beyond on the map device. And you want 2 additional strong boxes, and what's important about this strong box Sextant is that it makes all the strong boxes rare and corrupted, so it's pretty much like tamper proof, but you also get 2 additional straw boxes, so it's super, super effective. And lastly, the most important one is you want straw boxes have 500% quantity, and I think I actually doubled up on this. So this should be straw box 500% quantity. So make sure you have that. The 2 straw box sextants, beyond, and unique monsters drop corrupted items. Now for the map device, you want to put domination on the map device, and you want to choose Alva if you have missions. The main problem with Alva is that sooner or later you're going to run out of missions, and I do think the best way to get missions is to run the Sextant that gives you a purple crop. So you see how this one is 1 crop of blue plants. You want to get the one to have 1 crop of purple plants, and the purple plants can actually give you Alva missions and all Atlas missions. So I do think that's the best way if you want to stock up on some quick Alva missions. But Alva makes a big difference. Every single Alva temple that you do in the map will probably net you around like 1 or 1.56 links. Now, how do you want to run the map? So the map has a little bit of intricacy to it in that you want to run straight to the map boss and try to kill as little as possible. The reason behind this is this actually gives you a higher chance of getting quantity option on influence altars. So basically, every single altar has 3 different options. It has map boss can does something, and then players can do something, and then Eldritch minions can do something. By killing the map boss, you eliminate the map boss option, so it's always player or Eldritch minions. And players option has the increased quant, as you can see here. This is for some old screenshot that GGG first came out with, so that's why it looks like this. So you want to have the player option, and then you want to have the quant option so you can get as much quantity as possible on the map. And you want to use the Stalker Sentinel and try to hit as many strong boxes as possible, because I do think that the strong box Sentinel, the strong boxes and the Stalker Sentinel, the quant can stack on top of each other. So you have 500% and then you have 200% on top of a Stalker Sentinel. So if you look at my Stalker Sentinel right now, it has 241% quant, which will get stacked on top of the 500% quant for the strong boxes. And if you do see two boxes that are next to each other, you should save the Pandemonium Sentinel and try to open the boxes and then hit the Pandemonium Sentinel so that you could infect as much of the Strongbox mobs as possible. Now, one important thing to note is that the Sentinels do make the mobs harder than any other mobs in the game, especially if you do it at 100% deli. If you do Sentinels at 100% deli, you better make sure your build has around 50 plus million DPS at bare minimum, because the mobs are probably tankier than Wave 30 Kostas, each one of the rares. So make sure that if you do 100% deli and you're doing the Sentinels, that you have an extremely, extremely strong build, or I would recommend you do like 60 or 80%. Now, overall, this strategy is incredibly high variance, so I really need to warn you about that. You can get incredibly unlucky doing the strategy, and it does rely on finding Apothecary Cards, and if you don't find the Apothecary Cards, this strategy will not be better than Simulacrum. So if you really want to do this strategy, just be prepared that you could get unlucky. You do sustain most of your money and do make money because of the 6 links and the random drops. And I farmed roughly around 200 plus maps to drop 5 Apothecaries, so my RNG was probably on the good side. I was running 100% deli on almost every single map, so keep that in mind. And Blade Vortex is the best build for doing this. If you're going to roll any build and you want to take it to endgame to farms, Crimson Temples, I highly recommend doing Blade Vortex or another build that has Explode for chain explosions with Heralds. Because the chain explosions carry your clear a lot. A lot of times you could kill a Kostas in the map with just the explosions from the mobs that are surrounding it. So Blade Vortex best build can get very unlucky doing this method, so watch out and beware of the prices of the Sextants and Scarabs that you're buying, because it can make this strategy extremely, extremely expensive. But hopefully you try the strategy out. It is probably the best way to deterministically farm these cards, and it does happen pretty fast, especially if you can afford to drop any gear for Magic Find. It will make it much, much better. But thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you find more Mirrors, Exalts, and Mage Bloods than me, and see you next time. Bye!